Hey, what's up, everybody? This Eve coming to y'all with another episode of Hit the Sled. Hey, we're here live in the Hit the Sled studios, coming to you live. Hey, week one of my college football review, Hit the Sled. Live every week. We're gonna be coming at you every week, live with weekly episodes, reviewing when went on the previous day in the weekend of college football. Hey, you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Hit the Sled. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Hit the Sled. Follow me there. Every week we're gonna be doing our college football review and our college football preview. This coming week, we're gonna be dropping at least two shows a week. We're gonna be doing a preview of the week two of college football this coming weekend, and also week one of the National Football League schedule. With that being said, once again, subscribe to my YouTube channel at hitthesled.com. Hey, not only that, follow me on Twitter. I'm there. You can also follow me on TikTok as well at Hit the Sled. Hey, man, what an exciting weekend of college football. I'm going to just tell you something. I was just happy to have college football back. We had college football back. College football was here, and it was pretty exciting. You know, week one we had a lot of really good matchups. In week one of the college football season, man, very first game starting at 12, we had Georgia and Clemson. Man, what a great matchup! Two teams in the top 15. Georgia, of course, ranked number one in the country, and we got Clemson. Clemson was ranked number 14 in the country. What a great game. Well, not so much of a great game for Clemson, but we're gonna get to them a little later. But um, congratulations to Georgia, man. Georgia looked like they was ready to go. They started off slow in the first half. It was a real physical game, and I got to start off with their quarterback, Carson Beck. Carson Beck, in my opinion, did a tremendous job. He went 23 for 33 for 278 yards, two touchdowns. Um, he didn't do anything really special, to be quite honest with you. He really didn't. But he just played. He was even kill. He was consistent. He, especially in the second half, he didn't make any mistakes. First half, it's the first game of the year, so it was a lot of filling each other out. And credit also to Clemson defensively, and especially in the first half, they played really well to slow down Georgia. They held Georgia to two field goals in the first half, and they were able to manage the game. In the second half, it was a different story. Carson Beck was able to make some plays, and I think as the second half came in, Georgia's offensive line really came in and they just dominated in the second half. They did a tremendous job of protecting, establishing the run game. They really took the wheel out of Clemson, man. And we're gonna get to that later. But Carson Beck wasn't harassed at all, especially in the second half. He had time to throw. He was on point. He had plenty of time. That Georgia offensive line was physical. They were coming off the ball from man, they did a tremendous job, man. Like I said, Carson Beck went 23 for 33 for 278 yards, two touchdowns. And he did what he was supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do. He had plenty of time. One of the touchdowns, he threw to London Humphreys on a drag route. And if anybody played football, drag route, that's a long development play. And matter of fact, it came out of trips. He came all the way across the formation, and Carson Beck was able to hit him, and he ended up scoring a touchdown. And for me, that was really impressive to see the offensive line work by Georgia. Georgia offensive line was physical. Man, them big boys up front, they look like they've been hitting the sled. Man, they was out there, man. Second half, they was out there hitting. They was out there pushing Clemson off the ball. No penetration by Clemson. Positive yardage. Clemson running backs weren't getting touched when they get through the second level. It was really impressive it was really impressive for Georgia. Georgia did a tremendous job. When you look at the other side of the ball, you look at Cade Kupnick, the Clemson quarterback. He went 18 for 29, 142 yards, 0 touchdown, and 1 interception. He had a very rough day. Um, when you looked at him, you would think that he didn't really develop. He didn't really get better over the summer. But I won't really say that because I would really want to give that to the Clemson, Georgia's defense. Georgia's defense was spectacular yesterday. They were physical. They were physical, and that's the theme that I really saw out of Georgia yesterday. They were extremely physical, and even the freshmen that were coming in were impressive. So credit to Kirby, and we're gonna talk about Kirby a little later. But um, and going back to Cade Cupnick, he really struggled, and Clemson, the offensive line, the run game wasn't really helping. Georgia held them to only 47 yards rushing on 22 carries. And to be quite honest with you, you're not going to beat Georgia just running the ball for 47 yards. If you go back to the last game Georgia played, the last meaningful game they played in the SEC championship game, Alabama was running that ball. Alabama ran that ball. Jalen Milroe was throwing it too. So if you're going to beat Georgia, you're going to have to run the ball. And Georgia has a tough schedule. Georgia has a tough schedule this year, and whoever is going to have a chance to beat Georgia, you're going to have to run the ball. You really are going to have to run the ball. So credit to Georgia's defense holding Clemson to only 47 yards rushing. And also I got to give Clemson some goal too, man. Their defense played well. Initially in the first half, they played well, but they were out there so long especially in the second half, where they just ran down, they just wore down, and to be quite honest with you, it looked like they tapped out. It really did look like they tapped out. And I don't want to say they quit, but man, Georgia was out there, man. Georgia was impressive. I gotta really say it. Georgia was impressive, and that takes me to Kirby. That Kirby Smart seems to be becoming the best coach in college football. That's just the way it is. Kirby, man, Kirby is doing a tremendous job. He's doing a great job now that Coach Saban has retired. Jim Harbaugh now is with the Chargers. Kirby's the best coach in college football, and also not only is he the best coach, he has the most talent. Georgia has accumulated the best talent in college football. And also, they got some of the best coaches, man. They develop their talent and they know how to make adjustments. And the reason why I say that is because that first half, it was 6-0. Offensively, the passing game wasn't really doing too much. And they came out second half, whatever they went and talked about in the second half, they came back out, man, and Georgia was just coming downhill. The passing game was clicking. The run game was clicking. That's coaching. That's coaching right there. And you see, one of the things you got to always remember, and we got USC playing LSU right now. I want everybody watching this to always know this. If you remember when USC was in their heyday, Pete Carroll had some good coaches. He had Norm Child as his offensive coordinator. He had Sock on his staff. Sock, the head coach down in Texas. He had Lane Kiffin on his staff. They will always, Norm Child will always be able to make these adjustments. Reggie Bush coming out the backfield, Lindell White, Mike Williams at the receiver. Fred, the tight end. They had weapons, but you always will come out in the first half thinking you doing something against them, and come second half, they pulling away. That's coaching. And that's what happened yesterday. So not only has Kirby accumulated the best talent in college football, he also has now, in my opinion, some of the best coaches. And these coaches develop the talent. Man, Georgia get people drafted all the time. They either second or third in college and sending people to the draft, getting people drafted. So you got to give Kirby a hell of a credit for what's going on. So for me, I gotta give him man his flowers. He's really, really doing a good job. And then when you look across the field and you look at Dabo, I know I've been hopping on this. If you've been watching Hit the Sled, I've been talking about this. I talked about it yesterday, and I'm gonna talk about it again today. Dabo has not been the same since he's lost all his quarterbacks. Dabo had Taj Boyd for 4 years. He had Deshaun Watson for 3. He had Trevor Lawrence for 3. Think about this. Taj Boyd was a tremendous college quarterback. Tremendous college quarterback. Tremendous. 4 year player at Clemson. He did a tremendous job. He had weapons. He had Sammy Watkins out there. He had DeAndre Hopkins. Man, they was lighting it up. And then Deshaun Watson came in for 3 years. That's 7 years. Deshaun Watson was just, I know Deshaun Watson didn't go top 5, but he was a top 5 quarterback. He was a top 5 quarterback. And then you get Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was out there for 3 years. That's 10 years of great quarterback play by Dabo. 10 years. Since Trevor Lawrence left, Dabo has not been the same. And I know Clemson fans or people will say, hey, you being a little too tough on Dabo. If you got a great quarterback, you always gonna win. That's of course. But Dabo didn't just have a great quarterback. Dabo had top 5 quarterbacks. Dabo has not been the same since he ain't had those top 5 quarterbacks. He has not been the same since he had those top 5 quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback. Trevor Lawrence went number 1 in the draft. So what has he done after that? The quarterbacks he got after that, all of them have busted out. And now this young man right now that they have, Cade Klubnik, let's see how he looks during the season. Let's see. Let's see how he looks. Let's see how he progresses. Let's see what he does. But in my opinion, I don't think he's going to be doing much. But we'll see, though. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see we'll see what he does because it's only week 1. Let's not overreact. But Clemson did not look good because Clemson had holes in on their roster. And Dabo refuses to use the portal. Now, I understand why Dabo don't want to use the portal. I get it. I get why he doesn't want to use the portal. I understand. I get it. He doesn't want to get in that realm of free agency for college players, paying players. But Dabo, that's the way of the land now. It's either you evolve or you die. It's just like nowadays, if you don't decide to evolve with the times, you're going to be left behind. And unless Dabo agrees, unless he decides to say this offseason, I gotta fill my holes in my roster with transfers, Clemson's gonna be left behind. They're gonna be left behind. And I understand he feels like the players that he recruits, they could do the job. That's not what it is. All these other teams are doing it. Man, Georgia signed last year. ESPN has been doing the ESPN 300, the top 300 high school players since I believe 2003 or 2005. For the first time in history, out of 25 recruits, Georgia signed 20 ESPN 300. 20. And the reason why I tell you that is because Georgia still went in the portal and got receivers. Georgia still went in the portal and got receivers. Still. So that should tell you something right there. You have to be able to supplement your roster with transfers. You have to. You have to. Because you're not going to hit it every time and everybody else is doing it. So Dabble got a decision to make. Clemson got to make some decisions. They really do. They got to make some decisions, but it's only week 1. And by the time Clemson plays FSU in a couple weeks, we're going to find out. They should have got their footing underneath them. They're not going to be playing Georgia every week. So maybe Georgia is that impressive. That Georgia can be able to make plays like that, dominate like that, and especially in the second half, and Clemson couldn't do nothing with them. They just on another level than Clemson. That being Georgia. Maybe they just are on another level. But Dabo gotta make a decision. He really has to make a decision. So congrats to Georgia. Georgia did a tremendous job. They did a tremendous job yesterday. The next game I'm gonna talk about is the Ohio State Buckeyes against Akron. This was a game. This was a game right here where, in my opinion, it was a borderline preseason game. If you ever have a preseason game in college football, this will be it. Ohio State came out yesterday and they absolutely methodically beat Akron down. Ohio State is trying to change the way they play. They went and got Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly retired from UCLA as the head coach. He retired as a head coach to take an offensive coordinator job. Think about that, everybody. Just think about that. He retired as a head coach to take an offensive coordinator job. And if you go back to Chip Kelly in his days at Oregon, they run the football. And that's what he's trying to build. He's trying to run the football, and they got these great receivers. You can see what the plan's going. The plan's coming a mile away. Ohio State wants to play physical, be in that spread, play action, and throw it to them receivers. But the one thing that's going to take when you are transitioning from one set of receiver, one set of playing, the way Ohio State has been playing for practically since Urban Meyer left, then they became they weren't a physical football team. They were not a physical football team. And now with Chip Kelly, they're trying to be a physical football team. And when you do that, it takes time for it to transition. It takes time. It really does. It takes time. So you got the Buckeyes. Yesterday, they were choppy at some points, but as the game went on, they got better and better. You know, they ran the ball 33 times, which is a rarity for them, for 170 yards. The passing game wasn't anything spectacular compared to what it used to be. Will Howard, the new transfer out of Kansas State, the new quarterback, he threw for 17 for 28, 28 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Nothing spectacular about that. The freshman, number 4 Smith, he was pretty good. He's a young man that has talent, man. He can play. But that's nothing new with Ohio State. They always gonna have talent. The running backs, Travion Henderson. He had 8 carries for 65 yards. Quinshon Junkins, the young man who transferred in from Ole Miss, he had 13 carries, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. Defensively, they looked the part. They're always going to look the part, though. You know, so they seem to be athletic. Nothing has really changed. They'll be fine defensively. We won't know much about the Buckeyes until they play Iowa. They play Iowa week 5. When they play Iowa, then we'll find out about that offense. That's when we'll find out about that offense. We'll find out about that offense. I don't know if we're going to find out about that defense until they play Oregon. But offensively, we'll find out about that offense because Phil Parker's defense at Iowa is really, really good. They are really, really good. So we will see how the Buckeyes respond, how they play, and what and if Will Howard looks like he could be the one to help him win a national championship. They won, like I said, offensively in the passing game. They won. It wasn't really nothing spectacular about it, So and Will Howard is not that. He's okay passer. You know, Kansas State. Kansas State are not tripping that they don't really care that he transferred. So we'll find out about the Buckeyes later on as the weeks go on. The next game I'm gonna talk about though is the third ranked team in the country, which is Idaho against the Ducks. This was a funny game in that this was supposed to be another preseason game, but what happened was Oregon came out there. Funny thing, a football game got going. Idaho wasn't playing around. Idaho kept this game close to the fourth quarter till Oregon was able to score 10 points in the fourth quarter to make it 24-14. Man, when they was panning to the crowd at Eugene. Man, them Oregon fans look like, man, what was going on out here? All that talent. If you look at the stats, man, you would throw Oregon won by 50. They never really ever finished drives. They never did. Defensively, they played well. They played well defensively, but this is one of those things where week one of college football, this is why you play those games where you come out, you don't play well, and you got a lot to work on. A coach will always rather correct mistakes on a win than a loss. But Oregon has a lot to fix. Offensive line wise, too much penetration. They were getting manhandled up front. And that's Idaho. They going to the Big Ten. Oregon got to play Ohio State. They got to play Michigan. They got to go to Wisconsin. Hey man, this thing is not going to be. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the Ducks. It is not going to be a cakewalk for them. But on the outside, skill wise, they have talent. The quarterback is a 5th, 6th-year player. He been there forever. He been in college forever, I should say, because he been in college about down there 6 years. So they got a lot to work on. Dylan Gabriel, he went 41 for 49, 380 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that's what I'm saying. If you look at those stats, you'll be like, hold on, man. Hold on. What's going on here? Why they not pulling away? Because the reason why they ain't pulled away is because up front they weren't physical. They ran the ball 37 times for 107 yards and 1 touchdown. They need more out of that running game than that. You run the ball 37 times against Idaho for only 107 yards. That ain't good enough. That's 2.9 yards a carry. Less than 3 yards a carry. Can't have that. Cannot have that. Oregon has time to iron out their mistakes because they don't really play nobody until they play the Buckeyes in week 6. So they have time. However, you got to get the mistakes fixed, especially up front. That old line did not play well, in my opinion. Did not play well. Because Oregon is trying to compete for a national championship, go to the playoffs, compete with the Buckeyes. They not with that old line the way they was looking. They're gonna get pushed around by Ohio State. They come out looking like that. Even in Eugene, they're gonna get pushed around. So we'll see about the Ducks. We'll see. We'll keep a close eye on the Ducks. The next game we're gonna talk about Texas. Colorado State versus Texas. Now, Texas was a completely different story. Colorado State came out there. Texas looked great. They played like they took Colorado State and played them like it was a preseason game, in that they dominated. This is like a warm up. They played like they were supposed to play. They ran the ball. They protected the quarterback. They played very good defense. Nobody would have complaints about Texas' performance. Quinn Ewers, 20 for 27, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did turn the ball over. He had an interception. Running game, 41 rushes for 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'll take that. I'll take that all day. You know, they got a 5-star freshman, Ryan Wingo, led the team in receiving yards, 4 catches, 70 yards. Transfer Alabama receiver Isaiah Bond, he had 5 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. So offensively, they're humming. Defensively, they played well too. They played a lot of guys. A lot of guys got experience. But when you beat a team the way when they beat a team like they beat down Colorado State, you're gonna have to play a lot of guys. Texas look like what are you supposed to look like? Texas is a team. Texas got a veteran quarterback, a veteran offensive line, a maturing defense. So Texas is ready to go. My biggest thing about Texas is, are they going to stay consistent? How they handle success? This is something right here that we're going to be talking about all through the season on Hit the Sled. In that with that offensive line they got, them big boys up front, them big boys look like, man, them elephants on parade out there, man. They was out there. They look like they've been hitting the sled. They really do, man. With that type of physicality they showed yesterday, Texas is gonna be hard, man. And they got my Michigan Wolverines next week in Ann Arbor. That's a nail biter right there, man, for me. Because even though our defense, we're gonna talk about that later. Texas is really good. Sock know what he's doing offensively. Sock know what he's doing. Sock knows what he's doing. So Texas is gonna be a handful, but we're gonna find out a lot more about them on offense this coming week. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out a lot more about them offensively against Michigan. We're gonna find out. The next game we're gonna talk about is Western Kentucky over Alabama. Well, Western Kentucky versus Alabama. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This was a non-competitive game. This was non-competitive. Alabama never, ever had a threat. The young man Finley, that was LSU quarterback a couple years ago, he transferred out of LSU. He went to Auburn, transferred out of Auburn, went to Mississippi State, left Mississippi State. He went to Kentucky. You do see, first he was up here at LSU. Then he go to Auburn. Then he go to Mississippi State. And now he at Western Kentucky. And that he was out there throwing pigs. He threw pigs on the first possession. Keon Sabb got the first pick. The young man safety out of Michigan. Man, Keon Sabb out there making plays for Alabama. I wish he was still in Amazing Blue, man, but congrats to him. They say he just felt like he needed that change. He didn't want to be in rotation with the other safeties at Michigan. So he left. That's what the portal is for. He said it wasn't nothing. It wasn't about money. It wasn't nothing like that. He just didn't feel like he needed to be in rotation. He said he out. And credit to him, you know, he went out there and made some plays, man. I wish he was still in the Amazing Blue, but credit to him. Western Kentucky was so terrible. Jalen Milroe only threw the ball 9 times for 200 yards. So Bama, we didn't learn nothing about Alabama yesterday. The only thing, but we are gonna find out about them. They play Wisconsin in week 3. So we'll find out a lot more about Alabama where they at week 3. We'll find out a lot. We'll find out about they go to Wisconsin. So that's gonna be something right there where it's gonna be imperative that Jalen Milroe works on his passing. Treat it like a preseason game. You working on your stuff, working on your passing game, getting your rhythm down. Because going to Camp Randall down there in Wisconsin, it's gonna be a different story down there. You got Luke Fickle down there. He's gonna have his boys ready to go. So that's gonna be something right there. And the next game, Furman against Ole Miss, similar thing, non-competitive. That's just, you see that right there. These games right here is just for just for money games. It's non-competitive, man. The kids come out there, run out there for the first time in the season, make it easy on them. That's a easy win. Easy win. So Ole Miss came out there and they they did their thing. You know, They did their thing. We won't know about Ole Miss until week 5 against Kentucky. They do play Wake Forest. They do play Wake Forest, so we might get a little idea as to how Ole Miss fares in that game, to see how they're working, see if what's going on, because Wake Forest will be a little bit of a step up, but we won't really know about Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss until they play Kentucky in week 5, because they out of conference games is extremely light. Wake Forest, Wake Forest, a bottom tier ACC team. That's just reality. Ole Miss, Wake Forest is a bottom tier ACC team, and the ACC ain't the stronger. This ain't basketball. So we'll see. We'll see about Ole Miss. The other game that I'm gonna talk about though is the Notre Dame versus Texas A&M game. Now, that was a game right there. That was a game right there that Marcus Freeman, you got to give him a lot of credit. You got to give him a lot of credit. And the reason why you got to give him a lot of credit is, man, they went into Texas, into Cal Field, and they offensive line, they got a young offensive line. Between the 5 of them, they've only made 6 starts. And them kids went down there, and them hog mollies, they looked like they was ready to go. Because passing game was non-existent in this game. There was no such thing as a passing game in this game. No such thing. No such thing as a passing game. Riley Leonard, the new Notre Dame transfer quarterback, he went 12 for 30. That's less than 50%. He threw for 158 yards, 12 for 30, 158 yards, 0 touchdown, 0 interception. And then the other quarterback, Connor Wegman for Texas A&M, he went 12 for 30 as well for 100 yards. He threw for 100 yards. Man, let me tell you something. But it was physical out there. This was an old school game. This was all about the run game. Who was gonna put force their physicality on people? That's what happened. And Notre Dame did it. Notre Dame was physical. Notre Dame ran the ball 34 times for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. Texas A&M ran the ball 38 times for 146 yards and a touchdown. Excuse me, Notre Dame ran the ball 34 times for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Texas A&M ran the ball 38 times for 146 yards and 1 touchdown. What I'm trying to tell you is they said whoever wins the rushing attack, who can stamp their mentality on the opponent is who's going to win that game. And that was Notre Dame. Notre Dame did it. So credit Marcus Freeman. They went in the Cal Field down there in Texas, hot as all outdoors, and they went down there and they put in work. They put in work. So this is something right here where both teams were physical, but Notre Dame was the more physical team. Notre Dame was just the more physical team. So credit to them. Credit to them. Notre Dame got a light schedule this year. If Notre Dame don't hiccup, if they don't lose to another Marshall like they did last season, I believe they don't lose to no Marshall, because they always do the one of those games where they always have some of those games where you like, man, what the hell they doing losing to these people here? If they don't have no hiccups like that, they gonna be tough, man. Now I ain't saying they gonna win championship, national championship or nothing, but they can cause some havoc in the playoffs. Now they can do something. They can do something because Notre Dame is not in the conference. They get in the playoff. They don't play in championship weekend, so effectively they got to bye. They got to bye. So hey man, this is one of those things. This is gonna be one of those things where as the season goes on, you got to see if a team gets better. Let's see how better they get in the passing game to see how Notre Dame's get better. Because defensively, they was out there biting. But also we don't know if Texas A&M, they offense might have been. We're gonna find out about their offense because their offense was so terrible. It wasn't no Johnny. Johnny wasn't out there. Mike Evans wasn't out there yesterday. I can tell you that much. It wasn't no Johnny football out there. It wasn't no number 13 Mike Evans catching bombs like it was 10 years ago. It wasn't none of that going on. So credit to Notre Dame, and we're gonna see what's going on with Notre Dame. The last game I'm gonna talk about is my Michigan Wolverines. I'm gonna tell you something now. Defensively, we were pretty good. Defensively, we were pretty good. We played a tough, feisty Fresno State team. Fresno State was pretty good last year. But the thing that gave me encouragement yesterday was defensively. Defensively, we look like we're gonna be good. Defensively, we're gonna be good. Defensively, we're gonna be good. Defensively, we're gonna be right where we need to be. The first string D line was dominating like they did last season. They were impressive. The new linebacker core, they look good too. Zeke Berry, Zeke Berry replacing Mikey Sanders still. He looked good too. He got a pick. Overall, they just need to develop. They just need to develop their depth. Get more guys in there playing. Get more guys in there. Get more guys in there. Getting experience, learning, and new DC Wink Mondale, Coach Wink. He made some good calls. He believes in the blizzard now. Wink ain't gonna. Hey, Wink gonna put that pressure on you. But he didn't play too much man to man. It was a lot of zones behind him. You know, a couple times they played man to man, they got beat. The couple times they played man to man, they did get beat. I can honestly say they did get beat, but that's all part of it. Teams only get better from week 1 to week 2. That's when you start seeing the biggest jump because we're going to need that. We're definitely going to need that because our defense is a work in progress. The defense is the offense, I should say, excuse me, it's a work in progress. Man, our quarterback of the future, I don't think he's on the field right now. And as fans, we gotta trust Sharon Moore and his staff to get these quarterbacks up and going. Because yesterday it was real suspect offensively. The O line for the first time in 3 years was missing blocks, missing assignments. The receivers didn't look like they were good enough. Other than Colson Loveland, who catching passes for us? Other than Colston, who catching passes on fours? Can we score? Can we score points if defenses take away Colston Lovelace? Because I'm gonna tell you this: I don't think Texas is gonna allow Colston Lovelace to beat him. I don't think so. To be honest with you, I do not think so. And and we need our offensive line to play a lot better. Offensive line didn't play well enough. Towards the end of the third quarter, going to the fourth quarter, they started to look like their old self. So, they also replacing a lot, to be fair. They replacing everybody on the offensive line. They replacing JJ at quarterback. We losing Roman Wilson. We losing Johnson at the receiver. The only starter coming back on offense is Colston Lovelace. Everybody else is gone. And I don't know about Miles Hinton. Is he good enough on the run game? Is he a good enough run blocker? I don't know. I gotta see it. I can't tell you. I see it. To be fair, because I was watching him. He ain't look good. He looked like he got a couple nicks and stuff like that. He looked like he's about to fuck, man. I know he's a big man, but still, you got to do more than that. This big time. This your opportunity. You want to get paid, want to earn a check in the National Football League and the NFL. This what it takes. You got to show out. You got to dominate. You got the size for it. You got to dominate. You got to dominate. You got to dominate. So we got a lot of work to do. Evan Link, the red shirt freshman at right tackle, he was impressive. And you know how I know he was impressive? I ain't hear his name called not one time. He did a good job. He did a very good job. He did a very good job. Our centers are developing position. The centers are developing position. We lost a lot at the center position, and they had two guys come in there, play at the center, and we need that. One time, the center number 56, he got stuck. He got pushed back in the backfield by the nose tackle. So that right there is something they got a lot of work on this week in practice. They got a lot of work on this week in practice. And another thing, Donovan Edwards, I don't know. Because Mullins was the better back yesterday. Donovan was not running with authority. Fair to him, the offensive line was not playing their best yesterday. But however, Donovan did not look good yesterday. Michigan does not have a difference maker at quarterback this year. They don't. So they need the run game to be dominating. They need the run game to be dominating. And they cannot have that run game not clicking. The run game needs to be clicking for this team to win. For them to beat Texas next week, they need at least, and we're going to talk about that in the preview on Hit the Sled later on in the week. We need at least 2 turnovers, 14 points off turnovers for us to beat Texas next week. That's what we need. We need 14 points off turnovers to beat Texas. That's a lot. But we can do it. They're going to have to do a lot to beat Texas. They're going to have to do a lot, man, but they can do it. With that being said, I want to end this episode of my college football review. I'm gonna be doing something every week at the end of the week of college football, something that I saw, something conversation that I had, something profound that really piqued my interest. And today, one of my best friends gave me a call today, and he was telling me how he called me while I was working out, and he was talking about why everybody had more hate for Colorado than they do any other team, any other struggling team. And he was like, I saw teams struggle, but people don't have the venom for those teams that they do for Colorado. And one of the things I told him, man, while I was working out, we were supposed to pick up the conversation, but I just haven't had time to talk to him. Is some of the things that I wanted to talk to him, and just some of the things I told him. I was like, man, listen. First things first. Coach Prime in Colorado has put themselves out there. They have put themselves out there. They videotape everything. They make videos playing, Coach Prime talking, Bucky and them talking, Shador and them talking. So they are everywhere. And when you put yourself out there are always gonna be people that's gonna be out there got something to say. Even this thing that I'm doing now, hit the sled. There always gonna be negativity. There always gonna be people saying, "Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You trash. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" There gonna be people talking, but you gotta keep moving forward. You can't worry about that. You can't worry about people say, like Coach Prime said, man, don't nothing you say bother me. The exact words I'm paraphrasing. He was like, none you say, I don't, why would you think I care about what you think? And that's how, to be honest with you, that's how they think. That's how they think. So I know my boy, he's really, really a Coach Prime fan. And we all are supporters of Coach Prime in Colorado. We want them to be successful. I want Coach Prime to win the national championship. Now I disagree with him as far as the way he's going about recruiting, because I feel like he can get players. He can compete with Kirby and them. We're getting players. I think if Coach Prime would have said, I'm gonna recruit just as hard for high school talent as Kirby. Yeah, it's gonna take me a little longer for me to win as big as I want, but I can get top 5, top 10 talent. I'm on my way. He decided to go another way, and I just disagree with him as far as the way he's going about recruiting. But apart from that, you know, that's what happens, man, when you put yourself out there. Like I said, even with this that I'm doing, there are always going to be people that's going to be negativity. But you got to keep your head down and keep working and do what you feel as though is best for Coach Prime in this program, and like myself, what I'm trying to do. So for me, I just feel like when you put yourself out there, uh, um, that's what happens. People want Coach Prime to fail. There are people that just genuinely don't like Coach Prime. There are people genuinely don't like Coach Prime. They just don't. They don't like the fact that he got that head coaching job. That's just a fact. They don't think he deserves it. They don't think some of these coaches coaching program got passed over and they gave that job to Coach Prime. He shouldn't have got that job. And also, they feel like he changing the system. He taking advantage of the portal. Man, the NCAA getting ready to change. If you guys don't know, the NCAA is proposing a new rule to make the portal at one time instead of in the fall at the end of football season and in the spring. They're gonna make it one time in December through January, and that's it. Shut the portal down. Shut it down. You don't think that's gonna hurt on Colorado? That's gonna hurt them. That's gonna hurt them. That's gonna put them behind the 8 ball. That means they gotta go recruit. Because they're not gonna be able to get their entire team like they do in 2 portal, 2 sessions, 2 seasons of the portal. They're not gonna be able to do it. So which means that if they don't get all the players they need when the portal opens up, they got supplemented through high school. Now, how are they gonna be able to do that? That's why it was important for Coach Prime to be out there recruiting, building those relationships. If I'm a high school coach, you ain't been here to see me since you got the job. You said I can't go and recruit. Oh, okay. So you better than Kirby, who won the national championship, Jim Harbaugh, who won a national championship. You know, the upper echelon coaches. So it's a lot of these people, a lot of these coaches do not like that. And a lot of these coaches got a relationship with people in the media. They got a relationship with people in the media. And when you got a relationship with people in the media, they send their dogs after you. There are people that talk about Coach Prime like he's a evil person. And a lot of them on ESPN, some of them on ESPN. They talk about him, man, like he ain't doing nothing. Like he's not doing no good at Colorado. And he's doing good things over there. He's doing really good things. You could disagree with the way he's recruiting, but that doesn't mean you're not going to say, you're not going to speak the truth as to some of the good he's doing as well. You have to be able to say that. You know, so it's very important. It's very important. It's very important. It's very important that Coach Prime and his players continue to keep their head down and working. Now, we talked about it a couple days ago on Hit the Sled that they got a lot of undisciplined work, a lot of stuff they need to clean up. Some of the stuff they was happening last year, that's a coaching thing. Now, that's a totally different story. That's a totally different story. But as far as the venom that people are feeling like, hey man, that's what happens, man. No one talks about you if you ain't successful. Once you become successful, people come after you. And I'm just learning this. And I ain't no success, but I'm learning this by just seeing successful people talk about it. So you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for it. And for me, it's one of those things. You know, I'm someone trying to build something, and I just know for me now, I just know that my thing, get blessed, hit the sled, goes up to the next level. Got to be prepared, man. People are gonna be coming after me. Your competitors, people not seeing the expectation you doing what you doing. And some of them genuinely don't like you and they don't even know you. But you can't worry about that, man. And I know Coach Prime ain't worrying about that. So you know, that's one of those things that they just doing their thing. They just gonna do their thing. You know. With that being said, man, I appreciate y'all, man, watching me on Hit the Sled. Hey man, I'm having fun with this thing. Continually to try to make it better. Continually try to put in work with it. Got more things, creative things we're gonna do, that we're gonna try to do. I genuinely appreciate everybody liking me, subscribers, new subscribers coming in. I truly appreciate y'all. And not only that though, leave a comment. Leave comments. Things that you feel as though I need to work on. Things you feel as though can make hit the sled better. I truly appreciate y'all. I truly appreciate everybody watching my videos. We're gonna keep the work coming. This week we're gonna do our videos for the National Football League. Preview of the National Football League. We're gonna do our videos as far as previewing week 2 of the college football season. Jane Daniels, I'm watching this USC LSU game. Miller, the quarterback for USC, just threw a bomb for a touchdown. Great play. This to me has been a very good game. 20-17, 5 minutes and 44 seconds left in the fourth quarter. I'm gonna finish watching this. And hey, man, what a time. What a time to be alive. That being said, man, y'all have a good rest of y'all evening, man. Man, good luck and God bless. See y'all.